if y'all saw this, but hundreds of thousands of workers came out into the streets of Greece on February the 28th, answering the call of Greece's main labor federations, the Confederation of Greek Workers in the private sector, and the Civil Servants Confederation, ADEDY, in the public sector, for a general strike. Countrywide, there were 300 demonstrations, and in Athens alone, there was an estimated 180,000 people at the protest. Some million people are estimated to have went on strike. The New York Times reports that trains, planes, and ferries were all stopped, and other public services were disrupted as well, like schools and hospitals, as workers there also joined the strike. The general strike was called to mark the second anniversary of a train crash that claimed the lives of 57 people. The crash was the result of a head-on collision of a freight train and a passenger train, which authorities originally tried to blame on human error. However, the New York Times notes that a report by an independent rail and air investigation authority set up after the tragedy, whose results were made public on Thursday, found that delays in installing electronic signaling and remote surveillance systems played a key role in the collision, as did chronic understaffing and underfunding resulting from cutbacks enforced during Greece's decade-long financial crisis. Yanis Varoufakis, a Greek politician, told Jacobin in an interview contemporaneous with the strike a couple of years ago, contemporaneous with the crash a couple of years ago, that the Greek rail company was sold off to the Italian state rail firm Ferrovie dello Stato for 45 million euros in 2017, but there was no investment, and instead the Greek state committed to pay 15 million euros in annual subsidies for the Athens-Thessaloniki line. The Athens-Thessaloniki line. I think I got that right. Greek's railroads post-privatization, even before you take the deaths of this crash into account, are the most deadly in the European Union. This from a report by the European Union Agency for Railways. The strike was not just meant to commemorate the deaths, though, but to call on the government to reverse the trend of austerity, invest in public services, and most pressingly, to fully investigate the cause of the crime, because the Greek public believes that some information that would be detrimental to the government has continued to be hidden. And these are exactly the sorts of things that happen when you cut services, when you cut staffing levels, when you cut spending on essential public services, like what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are trying to do in the United States right now. Protests have continued since the strike last week, and now a no-confidence vote is being introduced into Parliament, although it's unlikely to pass given the conservative government holds a majority, although it is small, 156 of the 300 seats. So, looking at what's going on in Greece, it really does make me kind of a little bit envious of some of the protest cultures in other countries because, this was a general strike that literally had hundreds of thousands of people walking off the job, over 1 million people demonstrating across the country, the inciting incident was only one crash, right? We've had multiple crashes just in the last month with more casualties than those 57 deaths. And there is no such kind of culture of protest and, antagonism towards the government in America, at least for now. And, it's difficult to kind of imagine what it will take to get the American people to that place. And I hope that we don't have to sink to the level that Greece sunk to during austerity. It's really concerning.
This case actually reminds me of the East Palestine situation that we've been dealing with here in the States. And the underfunding, the understaffing, the lack of investment, the deregulation and privatization, these are trends that are happening to workers across the world. right? It's not just in your particular area. These are global trends, and we're all at the mercy of these market forces unless we come together and organize. So good on the Greek workers for coming together. I hope that it was successful in terms of getting some results. I noticed it was towards the tail end of February, so curious to know kind of what's developing out of it. They've definitely had a tough time over there, but it's important. It's really important, and it's nice to see workers coming together across sectors, across jobs, and organizing together. Like you said, that's the sort of thing American workers we can definitely take some inspiration from. It's going to take more of that kind of energy, and we've had that energy here in the past in this country in terms of mass mobilizations and mass organizing of working people, diverse working people. We can do that, and it takes that kind of people power, I think, to make positive change and to hold people in power accountable.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.